Welcome back to the channel. Aaron here from the Bitcoin Bros coming back at you with another video here today. We're going to be getting into MSTR today, Bitcoin updates. And as you can see right here, Strategy just acquired another 430 Bitcoin for around $51 million. They got that at around 120,000 per BTC. And all of this money came from the preferreds. STRC, STRK, STRF, and STRD. And as you can see, the preferreds aren't buying as much Bitcoin as the MSTR ATM has in the past. And this was as expected. If you guys have been watching this channel, I've been saying, and we've been saying on the channel for a while now that the preferreds probably aren't going to buy as much BTC as the MSTR ATM. And you can see right here, Saylor came out, and it looks like the team is going to be updating their view on how they're looking at MNAV. And as you can see right here, this part was updated. Below 2.5x MNAV, Strategy will tactically issue MSTR to, number one, pay interest on debt obligations, two, fund preferred equity dividends, and three, when otherwise deemed advantage to the company. So three is where they have entered this new language in. Because it doesn't really put them in a box if MNAV is below 2.5x, this still allows them to hit the MSTR ATM to acquire more Bitcoin if they deem advantageous to the company. And in my personal view, I believe this is a good thing because I think as Strategy grows, the 2.5x MNAV is not always the best metric to look at. This is just my personal opinion. So let me just give you guys this example. Let's say Strategy is a $2 trillion company and they have a 2x MNAV, which means they're going to have $1 trillion worth of Bitcoin. So you have a 2x MNAV, but you have a $1 trillion delta that you can then sell shares into the market and acquire more Bitcoin. Now, if you look at a smaller company that doesn't have as much Bitcoin, let's say they have $100 million worth of Bitcoin and they have a 2x MNAV. That's $100 million worth of delta that they can then sell shares into the market to buy Bitcoin. So I think as Strategy grows and as they get more and more Bitcoin and as the price of Bitcoin goes up, the 2.5x MNAV, in my personal opinion, isn't really the best metric to look at. Feel free to disagree with me in the comment section below. That's just how I view it. But as you can see right here, if we check this out, this is from Simon. Metaplanet actually acquired more Bitcoin over the past week than Strategy did. They acquired 775 Bitcoin for around $100 million, and this is like the third week in a row that we've seen this. They now hold around 18,888 BTC, so looking pretty good there for Metaplanet. And if we look at the most actively traded U.S. stocks, Strategy is still in the top 20 here at around $2.18 billion of actively traded volume. This is at the time of this recording, and you can see Coinbase and Bitmine are also up here as well. Bitmine, if you don't know, is Tom Lee's Ethereum Treasury company. He's doing exactly what Michael Saylor did with Bitcoin, but with Ethereum. So they're getting a lot of demand, and their company has done pretty well since Tom Lee has started to buy Ethereum. We'll see how that holds up over the long term, though. You guys, if you watch the channel, you know my opinion on Bitmine versus Strategy. And then you can see here Strategy has fallen down. It is still the 100th ranked company in the US by market cap. So we're still in top 100, but it's at the 100 spot, $103 billion. There's a lot of speculation around Strategy getting included in the S&P 500 in September. So that's something that we do have to watch out for to see if Strategy is included. If they are included, we'll definitely see the stock price jump here. And one thing I want to talk about here is if the stock price jumps because of the S&P inclusion, I think they added that language into the update on 2.5x MNAV because I think if the stock price goes up, they're going to want to hit the ATM to buy more Bitcoin if they get included in S&P and they have that initial pump. That is just my thoughts on it. That's maybe why they added that language in there. Let me know your guys' thoughts on how Strategy has been going about the 2.5x MNAV situation. A lot of people on Twitter are upset about how the team has handled it, and I think they're just learning as they go. And I don't really think it's that big of a deal. They're still getting more Bitcoin. And as you can see right here, just to get into the Bitcoin treasuries, Week 33, Bitcoin Treasury strategy updates. From August 11th to August 17th, there were 62 announcements and around 3.9K Bitcoin bought from the Bitcoin Treasury strategy companies. And then you have 2 new treasuries, one including a cigarette company, 10 future treasuries announced around $105 million worth, and then 29 companies added around 3,900 BTC. 12 plans to buy more Bitcoin, around $200 million raised, and 10 additional treasury-related disclosures. So a lot of updates from the Bitcoin treasury strategies there. And then you can also see this tab here. This shows how IBIT has been buying, what MSTR has been buying, Metaplanet, and some of the other Bitcoin treasury strategy companies. And as you can see over the past week, there's around 3,150 Bitcoin that were mined. And with IBIT and these treasury strategy companies, there's been an outflow of 6,597 BTC. So you can see, even though there's kind of like neutral feelings in the market, there's some fear because of the PPI data, the inflation numbers that came out. There's still a massive amount of Bitcoin that's getting taken out of the supply forever. These Bitcoin treasury companies are not going to be selling their Bitcoin anytime soon. So this is just a good key indicator for the long-term success of BTC. And like I said, we're still seeing all that demand while the crypto market is neutral right now. And some people are fearful. There's actually a lot more fear on Twitter. You know, if you go look on Twitter, there's a lot of fear over there right now, especially with the price action of strategy. Bitcoin has fallen a little bit. And then all the inflation news that just came out has been spooking some people there. And then don't really look at technicals too much, but if you look at this long-term indicator, strategy has bounced off of that 200 moving average almost every single time over the past couple of years. So strategy being very close to this indicator here, this could be a potential buy opportunity. While others are fearful, you should be greedy. While others are greedy, you should be fearful. Not financial advice, but that is my thoughts on strategy. Let me know what you guys think about everything in the comment section below. I have a clip here that I'll play for you guys at the end. Make sure to check it out. My name is Aaron from Bitcoin Bros. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your day.
So I would say the total market for a monetary asset is about $300 trillion. Bitcoin's already at 2 trillion, which is, I mean, impressive, because in 15 years, going from 0 to 2 trillion is the fastest that we've ever seen. We've never had an asset, anything, grow this fast. So it is quite impressive, but still got a long way to go. And I would say you could say that Bitcoin is the monetary standard of the world when it is the largest of these assets, probably around something in the range of 100 trillion or so. So still a while away. But with Bitcoin, you never really know how long it could take. You know, that could be another few months, because we've seen these crazy pumps in Bitcoin. But most likely it's not going to be a few months. Most likely it's going to be several years. And that's fine. I think it's a process that needs time. People need to accumulate cash balances. People need to become more familiar with how to use Bitcoin. And I think over time, it's just inevitable, because the people who accumulate Bitcoin will witness the value of their cash balances increase, whereas the people who don't accumulate Bitcoin will witness their cash balances decrease in value.